What is going on, YouTube? This is Lawrence over at Mighty Comics and Collectibles, and yes, we are back with another video. This time, we're going to be talking about the Copper Age era in comics and why there aren't a lot of huge, massive keys from this era. When I think about the Copper Age, it's the years that I grew up reading comics. A lot of the stuff that I read was from the 80s and early 90s. But a lot of that stuff, while being tremendous storylines, haven't really appreciated and valued that much. And we're going to talk a little bit about why. But before we get into the video, guys, if you are not a current subscriber of the channel and have been digging my content, I want you to go ahead and click the subscribe button for me because it really does help the channel out. And of course, I want you to smash that like button if you enjoy this video. But most of all, I want you guys to comment down below. Let me know what you think of this list I put together. Did I miss anything? You guys let me know down in the comments. We're going to jump right in here at number 6, guys, on my list. It is a copy of Secret Wars number 8, which is the origin of the black costume. Now, to me, this was one of the best storylines I read when I was a kid. I am hoping that they're going to bring Secret Wars, the original Secret Wars, to the screen at some point. I have no idea if they're going to be able to do that, but I will say this. The symbiote is a huge thing going on, I think, in comics. It is still going on, of course, with the creation of Venom and everybody that came after him. So how can we not have this book on this list? How can this book not be as high as it is in the dollar amount than it is right now? I mean, I think you can get a really high grade copy of this book for around $350. I remember we can get one for about $100, but now it's creamed up a little bit. But for the importance of this storyline for this book and a really high grade only to be around $300 around that area, it is criminal to me. Everybody who does not own a copy of this book, you guys should race out there to get a copy right now, only for the fact that we know that the symbiote is now in the MCU. For anybody who hasn't seen Spider-Man No Way Home, spoiler alert, but the post-credit scene, we see a little bit of that symbiote stay over in the MCU timeline. It's only a matter of time before it attaches to Peter Parker, and we get that great storyline. I don't know if we're going to get the origin that we saw in Secret Wars 8, and maybe that's why maybe this book hasn't popped too much. But either way, the symbiote itself is such a huge part of Marvel right now. This book has to be higher, and it's why it's number 6 on my list. At number 5, making the Copper Age list, is a copy of X-Men number 266, the first appearance of Gambit. Again, another book that is super popular among collectors. Gambit is a character we haven't seen on the screen before in an X-Men movie. I think they were going to do that movie with Channing Tatum. Of course, now the rights going over to Marvel. We're not going to see that, but I do believe we're going to see Gambit soon in the MCU once they start introducing the X-Men over in the next couple of films, and I do think they will. Why is this book number 5 and not, at number 6 is because of the fact that we haven't seen them. A lot of people are specking on X-Men right now because of everything that's going on. This is a smart investment if you're going to go pick a X-Men book up, because I've said this in past videos before, we're going to start to see people we haven't seen before. We've seen a lot of Wolverine, we've seen a lot of Storm, we've seen a lot of Mystique. Eventually, Marvel will get to those characters in these movies, but I think that we're going to see characters like Gambit. I do think we'll see the original X-Men team first, minus a few characters, adding a few characters. Regardless, this is a book that is really around that Secret Wars level of, money-wise, like around $350 in really high grade. So keep that in mind. It made number 5 on my list. Gambit is a character I am betting on going forward in the MCU. So if you do not own a copy of this book, I suggest you pick one up. At number 4 on my list, guess what? Another symbiote-related key. It is, of course, Amazing Spider-Man number 252, the first appearance of the black-suited Spider-Man. Now, this, to me, is the money book when I talk about symbiote books. This is the first appearance in the main title of the symbiote and that black costume. So if you're going to pick up a book and you don't only want one, this is the book I would go with. Like I said, we saw Peter Parker at the end of No Way Home swing away, and we saw a piece of that symbiote at the end of the post-credit scene start to walk away as well. It's only a matter of time. Of course, this has the homage cover as well going for it, the Amazing Fantasy 15 homage cover. Again, another book I'd always be buying in the Copper Age. We're going to talk about books today that, why isn't this book worth more? Again, it's around maybe a little bit more than a Secret Wars 8, probably around $400 in the high grade. I'm not talking 9.8, I'm talking 9.4, 9.6 area. 9.8s have their own category, guys, right? Most people's going to pay over $1,000 for these type of books. But again, an amazing storyline that ties into the symbiote that really hasn't appreciated as much as it should. That's why it made number 4 on my list. At number 3 on my list, guys, is a copy of Albedo number 2, the first appearance of Usagi Yojimbo. Now, if that's not a mouthful enough, this book only had 2,000 copies printed of it. So a lot of new comic collectors, maybe you don't know about this book. All I can tell you is that it is a fortune. Because of that low print run, this comic has gone absolutely insane. Now, there is talk about a Netflix show that's going to be coming to fruition sooner rather than later. Again, this book is really, really pricey. We're talking about tens of thousands of dollars for that first print. But if you could pick up a later print just to read maybe I don't think there's an omnibus or anything like that for this character, but there are later prints you could pick up if you want to know something about this character. I heard it is a great read, really good character, but of course a book that I'm not too familiar with because I never grew up reading it. But either way, if you're looking for an investment for 2022 or later, this book is absolutely on fire. We're talking about tens of thousands of dollars for the first print, and once this show hits, and if it becomes a hit among people out there watching these shows and not just comic book collectors, this book is going to go even higher. At number 2 on my list is, believe it or not, another symbiote book. It is, of course, a copy of Amazing Spider-Man number 300, the first appearance of Venom. And how popular has this character become? I want to say he's probably the most popular anti-hero out there right now. It is absolutely stunning what has happened since this character, since he was invented by Todd McFarlane and, David Michelini. Unbelievable where this book has gone. I remember you could have picked up this book 3 or 4 years ago for maybe about $300 in high grade. Now you're talking about, I think a 9.8 is around $6,000 to $9,000 depending on what day we're at right now. That's how hot this book is. If we're talking about Amazing Spider-Man 300 and the importance of Venom in Marvel, we can't understate this book, right? It is not only a tremendous cover by Todd McFarlane. It's been homage to death, to be honest with you. But outside of that, is the creation probably one of the greatest characters out there. And all the comics that came after this because of Venom's introduction, right? We're talking about, all the characters, all the symbiotes that we've seen already in the Venom movies, that we've seen in the comics that came after Venom. So this is such an important book. It really deserves to keep going higher in value. Now we're talking about, like I said, in a 9.8 going from $6,000 to $9,000 range, depending. Earlier in the year, it was $9,000, I think, for a newsstand, and then for a regular 9.8 copy, around $6,000. So this book, I think, will continue to go higher as we get older, as more popular Venom becomes. Like I said, we've seen him already in the Sonyverse. What do you think is going to happen when he starts to fight Spider-Man at some point in the MCU and an MCU movie? People are going to go nuts. This book is going to go bananas. So yes, if you do not own a copy of this book, guys, I would definitely add one, but I got to throw another caveat in there. There are a lot of copies out there of this book. Again, a lot of copies that were printed in the Copper Age for some of these books, some not, but this one, in fact, had a lot of copies. Stick to the 9.2s or higher if you're going to buy this book. I know you're going to find a lot of lower grade copies out there, but to me, I'd shy away from those because of the print count. Get your 9.2 copy or higher, secure it, because I believe that's where you're going to get the most for your money going ahead as an investment. Of course, if you want to buy this book because you love the character, because you love the cover, because you love Spider-Man, I'm all for that as well in any grade. But we're talking about money, we're talking about financial statistics. 9.2 or higher is where I'd buy the book. And at the top spot on my top Copper Age list, guys, is none other than Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1, the first appearance of, course, the 4 turtles that we've grown to love. Now, I was a huge Turtles fan growing up when I was a kid. I was more into the show than I was into the actual comics, so never really read the comics until the later years. But either way, TMNT 1, we all know, has a 3,000 count print. Now, a really low print count for this book, which makes it almost super unattainable in almost any grade. Now, this book is ridiculously expensive. I'm talking about in the 6-figure range for really, really high grade copies. So I want to say most people out there can't afford copies of this book, but I could not put it at the top spot because there are copies out there that are in the 6-figure range that some people may want to, attain, right? We're talking about maybe a 7.75 copies. You never know. Someone may want to shell out, 60, 70 grand for one of these books. I can't say. Of course, it has been reprinted. There's, second, third, and fourth prints, I believe. So if you live on this planet and you don't know who Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are, I don't know what to tell you. But either way, this has to be #1 on my list. I think if you do own a copy of this book, you're going to see some ridiculous prices going forward in 2022. Like I said, it is really hard to come by. Congrats if you own a copy, because this was a smart pickup by you guys way back when, whenever you got it. It has really gone through the stratosphere. And all the comics that came after this because of Venom, right? We're talking about Mutant, all the comics that came after this because of Venom. So this book is really, really pricey. the thing is with me, they keep making new movies, right? We saw a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, I want to say 5 or 6 years ago. It didn't do well at the box office, and we're going to see another one sooner rather than later as well. So who knows where this book can go, but to me, the dollar value amount on this book is absolutely insane. It's got to be because of the scarcity, the 3,000 print count. We talked about Usagi going for 2,000 print count, but this book has even gone higher than that, and that's because of the popularity of the Turtles. I myself loved the show growing up when I was a kid. I think it was around 3, 4 o'clock where I lived. Every day after school, I'd come home and watch things. Also some other cartoons as well, but this one really had my attention. So all the Turtles fans out there that have picked up copies of this book, congratulations. I'm usually not a second or third print buyer, but with this one, if you own those second or third prints, they're still worth a ton of money as well. So that's it for my Copper Age list, guys. You guys let me know down in the comments what you think. Did I miss any books that were really, really worth a ton of money? Because as I was going through this list, I couldn't see anything that was like, really, you know what? That's really going to go up. And we talked about Secret Wars 1 maybe. I can't see it. You could buy that book for 20 bucks. Now it's probably worth 100 bucks. But I don't see it going through the stratosphere. Even if they did a Secret Wars movie down the line, I can't see it being worth that much money. Not like the Secret Wars 8 or the ASM 252. So let me know if I missed anything. Were there any other big books out there from the 80s time frame that are worth a ton of money? Like I said, 2 are on this list because of the short print count. The TMNT because everybody loves those characters. But ASM 252, X-Men 266, Secret Wars 8. I could have thrown in X-Men 101, but I didn't. We've already seen Dark Phoenix in movies, so I didn't want to throw that character in there. Eventually, I'm sure she'll come at some point, but it's not going to be till way down the line. So I kept that off the list, so I wanted to narrow it down to 6. But either way, let me know down below what you think of this list. As a reminder, guys, I am doing a 2,000 subscriber giveaway that's going to happen any day now. Hopefully, I'm at 1958. Once we get to 2,000, all bets are off. I got some awesome stuff to give away. If you guys haven't heard, at Arrow Molnar is going to be sending me some books to donate for this giveaway. Wait for an unboxing. When I get those things in, guys, it's going to be amazing. So with that said, this is Lawrence over at Mighty Comics and Collectibles saying thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon.